Okay, I'm now live, and I'm just waiting to see how many people will get to come in and join us, or if anybody does. There's two coming in. Don't be afraid to announce your name or whatnot on there. Like, toss in a comment. All right, tonight's live is going to be where I came from and how I got to where I am from today. Yeah, how I got to where I am today. Not from today, but to today. Started that one off hard. Hi, Malva Donnie, how you doing? So basically, in late 2009, beginning of 2010, I was doing a marigold flower giveaway where I would put 20 marigold seeds in a package and send them out to people. And to enter the contest, all they had to do was, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Fowler Jeff. All they had to do to enter the contest was to send me a self-addressed stamped envelope inside of another envelope, addressed to a certain address, and as long as it had postage on the envelope and it wasn't sealed already, we'd put a package of seeds in there and ship it back to them. Well, at that time, I didn't have any businesses going. I was doing it for fun. I had a crap load of marigold seeds that I got from a little old lady who lived in a local apartment building. And she brought them to me. She says, these are colossal marigolds. I never heard of colossal marigolds. And I'm like, all right, what's a colossal marigold? And she took a picture of one, holding it next to a dollar bill. Now, mind you, a dollar bill is 6 inches long. And the flower covered the whole head of the dollar. The dollar bill was the whole size of the head of one flower. And I grew a lot of them. And I decided that as they were starting to die off, I was just going to deadhead the flowers, throw them in some dishwashing pans, and put them in my greenhouse to finish drying out. Every time I had a chance, I'd go out and I'd separate the seeds from the rest of it, Well, I ended up with about 12 of those dish pans full of those marigold seeds after cleaning them. Now, I got rid of these seeds, so I started a campaign. I had a local plant swap group at the time called Seven Valley Plant Cycle. And I started giving away those seeds as a way to draw people into the group. And somehow, I don't know how it happened, but somehow the information made it all the way to a thing called the Human Flower Project. I've never heard of them before. Hi, Charlene, how you doing? And they called me on the phone and wanted to know if I would be willing to do an interview and have somebody from their organization come out and take some pictures. Now, yeah, if you want, that's fine. So I did the on-phone interview. I think it was like 3 days later, I had one of their photographers show up at my house wanting to take pictures because it was a beautiful day outside, and I was already out in the backyard with my gardens. I had a lot of gardens back then. And so I showed them, all the tubs of marigold seeds we were giving away and all that stuff. Took some pictures around the flower garden. They even had me do one where I was holding the dollar bill up in front of the flowers so they could see that they were actually colossal marigolds. These things were huge. Well, then somehow, after that article went out, Women's Day magazine got a hold of me. And they said, yeah, we just seen a news clip here out in San Diego, California, about some project you have going on. And I was like, what? You saw that on the news? That wasn't supposed to be on the news. Well, basically, I went from giving them away to draw people to Seven Valley Plant Cycle. I changed the name of it to Marigolds Across America, because now I was coast to coast. I'm in New York, they were in California putting this on the news still. So I went for it. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And we gave away 10,000 free packages of marigold seeds. So that's 200,000 seeds we gave away. Granted, we didn't have that many, but we did start buying marigold seeds from a really well supplier. And if you ever buy bulk marigold seeds, they come in a Mylar pillow. And I'm talking, it's actually the size of a bed pillow. And I don't know how many seeds come in that, but there was a ton of them anyway. And I ended up going through 2 of those on top of the seeds that I already had. Well, then we fast forward a little bit. That was in 2010 when I ended it. But during that, my landlord came over, and in my living room, there was mail totes lined up against one wall, and there was mail totes lined up against the other wall, and he came to collect rent. And he's like, "What is up with all these mail totes?" And I told him, I said, "Well, I'm doing this thing called Marigolds Across America, where anybody that sends me a self-addressed stamped envelope at the right address, and it has to have postage on it, and the envelope can't be sealed, I'll give them free marigold seeds." And he's like, "Oh, that is cool." And I was, "Yeah, I think so." So while he was sitting there talking to me, he says, "Just think what it would be like if you got $1 for every one of those." I didn't tell him at the time, but I actually did get dollars in a lot of them, where people were just thanking me for the seeds and throwing $1 in with their envelope, which actually paid for the seeds we were giving away and the manila envelopes we were putting them in. And of course, you put the seeds in a manila envelope, staple a business card to it, stick it in their envelope, mail it out. So you put it in another tote. But what I was doing is I started a tracker where all of my incoming mail got taken into my back bathroom laundry room area. Every flat surface, I'd separate state by state, and then I'd do an individual count of how many are in each state, and I'd go out and update the map for how many seeds we've shipped out to different areas based on different colors and whatnot. It was a pain in my butt, but I enjoyed doing it. I got to learn to be a really good mail sorter. You got 50 states laid out on top of everything you got in a room. You got to remember where to go with the one you got in your hand, and it got confusing. They were not in alphabetical order by any means. And so after he left, I told my wife at the time, I says, I'm gonna look into this a little bit. And I started looking into buying seeds in bulk and buying the packaging to put them in and buying labels to print that were in full color to put on them. I didn't have a good logo. I did not have a good website. Actually, the website I had was done through Shopping Cart. Now, if anybody's played with Shopping Cart software, it's a trip. You can build a store on it, and you can also buy into the whole cart thing where you can go in and you do some really fancy customizing with it. So I did that. Hey, it wasn't that expensive. By the time I got done, actually the Coffee Cup software was all free. So the only thing I was paying for was the website and then the product. Well, I did that, got it all set up. We had 18 of the most basic varieties anybody would grow. Things like zucchini, cabbage, radishes, lettuce, things like that. Well, then about 2011 or 2012, I was contacted by a big corporation down in Texas, and they wanted to talk to me about giving them seeds. "Hi, Arlene, how you doing?" They wanted to know about getting some seeds packaged from me for them to put into their mailers to mail out to all the membership people they had on their website. I don't remember the name of the corporation, but I do know it had to do with survival gear and things like that. And they were selling programs, and lo and behold, they wanted seeds to put in with it. So I hired everybody I knew to start packaging tomato seeds, because they wanted Roma tomato seeds. And they wanted, I think it was 3,000 packages of seeds or something like that to have available for the next mail out. And so I was like, yeah, I just started hiring anybody. My son worked for me for a little while doing it. My wife was there working with me. My mother was there working with me. I hired some people down the street from me that I hardly knew. And we beat the deadline. Got paid for the job, shipped them out. It was a pretty good dollar. And then the business itself was building up. By that time, I think it was up to about 115 varieties of seed. I moved into a totally different room. And 2013, it really blew up. That's also the year I lost my brother, so that was a rough year for me. But the business really started blowing up. When I had 18 varieties, one of my first orders within 2 weeks was $140 or 135 or something like that. And I just reinvested all of it. I wanted more seeds. I wanted more packaging. I wanted more labels. And I was working on the website myself. I was working on that tracker myself and all that stuff. And it took off. It took off really well. So then in 2013, we got hooked up with another company. And at this time, I was like, first of all, I got to move the business out of this little office area I got and move it into a big room. So I gave up my bedroom after my brother passed away, because he was my other spare bedroom. I moved into the spare bedroom and totally gutted the bedroom that I was in. At this point, I'd already thrown my wife out. That was in 2012. I threw her out. And so here we are, 2013. I just got everything set up, and now I am getting bombarded. My little office area got turned into a supply closet that was very crowded. You couldn't even walk through it hardly. And I took on a big contract for a group called Crisis Education, run by a guy named Chris Olioker. If you look him up on Google, you'll find all kinds of bad reports about these guys. I didn't know that. I had no clue. Hi, Greg and Gina. So then that really blew me up. We did $40,000 worth of business for these people within a 3-month period. So as you can imagine, that was a lot of seed packaging. I had my son, his girlfriend, her whole family, the people down the street, some people across the street, my ex-landlord at that time, and my new upcoming landlord at that time that had a place out in McLean that was a friend of mine. I even got him and his wife packaging seeds for us and stuff. And like I say, we beat on that one hard, really hard. It was a lot of orders. I use a Dymo label printer. It has 250 labels to a roll, and I could print every day one of them whole rolls right out with no problem at all. And I was, you know. I forgot that. So then as that was going on, I met Leah, the girl I'm with now. And we got hanging out, and she was over at the house, and she was very interested in the business. So I walked her through all of it. You know, I don't have a problem with that. And when I got done walking through it, she's like, how can I be a part of this? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, the best way, hi Len, how you doing? The best way for you to get involved in this is take over what I got going on here, because people are coming in and just grabbing as many seeds as they thought they needed and not leaving me enough for the rest of the people that were packaging. So she'd have to, you know, distribute the seeds. So you can only take this many or whatever. Well, along with doing all that $40,000 worth of business for that corporation, my orders were still coming in. So she picked up on my orders and she kept them all going out on time and whatnot. December 25th of 2013, Mr. Olioker fired me. And the reason for him firing me was because I didn't have enough communication with him. I was like, dude, I have sent out over 40,000 packages of seed in 3 months. I can only do 100 packages of seed an hour myself. I got people working for me all over the countryside. I don't have time to be on the phone talking to somebody. That was just not even any given playing card deck. And so he fired us. I was like, yeah, whatever. I had everybody finish packaging what they had and with their label on it. And when they brought them back to my house, we just broke them down by variety and put them into some bins and said, well, every package of seeds that goes out now goes with one free package of this seed. Cross the name of Crisis Education off the top, make it look like it was a blunder or whatever, and just send them out. Use up every one we got. Well, then in 2019, we bought the house I'm in now. And I set up the original downstairs bedroom as the new seed packing room. It's not very big. I think it's 10 by 12. Not very big at all. And COVID hit. Well, now they're saying everybody's got to stay 6 feet apart. Well, that means I can only have 2 people working in that room that don't have to be side by side of each other. Now, that ain't working. So I called the mortgage company that we got the mortgage for the house from, trying to get them to work with me to put extra on the mortgage so I could afford to build a garage or buy a garage out back. And they hem and hawed and drug their feet for so long. I was like, I'm not waiting on these guys anymore. So we went and bought a building. It is 14 foot wide, 34 feet long. And it's got a 4-foot porch off the front. Excuse me. Well, then I proceeded for the next 6 months working in that building. I was bringing one of my co-workers home with me We'd get out of work at 6:30 in the morning. I'd drag him back here at the house, and we'd work in that seed house for as long as we could. We normally worked till about 9 o'clock in the morning, because by then the sun was up. It's got a dark green roof on it. It had no insulation in it, and it was hotter than crap. So our goal was to start putting insulation on it. I actually cut a hole in the side of the building and just threw a window air conditioning unit into that hole, so we had some kind of air in there. Ran the extension cord in through a window, the whole 9 yards, just so we could have some air out there. And it worked for a while. We finally got the whole ceiling insulated, all the walls insulated, and we no longer had to quit working at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing good, Greg and Gina. No, actually, our snow is melting right now. It's 37 now, but it was 42 earlier. And they're saying tomorrow's possible high 40s to mid 50s, but they're calling for a lot of rain too, so I don't know how that's going to play out. I think our total so far was only about 3.5 inches. So I got the building all done except for the flooring. And one of my employees, a good friend of mine I went to school with, he says, so what's up with this building? And I took him out and I told him what my plans were, showed him what was going on. And of course, I had a whole pallet full of laminate flooring. And he opened it up and he looked at it and said, oh, that's nice flooring. I said, yeah, it is. And he says, so when are we putting it down? What do you mean? When are we putting it down? He says, yeah, you didn't know this, but I did this for a living for like the last 10 years. Cool. I've never only done it once in my life. Yeah, Central New York so far has been mild. My snowplow guy did plow me out twice, and he didn't have to, but I told him if it gets up to anything over 3 inches of snow, definitely plow. The first time he did it, it was probably only about 2 inches, but I didn't care. You know, they were talking possible, really blowing a bunch of it in on us. And so him and I spent the next 4 days in there putting the flooring down. And it was a pain in the butt. I can tell you this much. That guy was a professional floor layer. That was not one floor I'd be willing to take on myself. It was too hard to lock together, and it was so many specialty tools he had that I didn't have and whatnot. I was like, okay, I'm glad you're here, you know. And by that time, I had it all wired, insulated, sheetrocked, and painted. Hey, James Hall, how are you doing? Got it all painted and everything. And so once the floor went down, it's like, okay, now we can really start moving on some better items. And he's like, well, what's next? And I showed him the wood that I had, and I said, I want to have a shelf on this back wall that goes side to side. And he's like, all right. He says, it's 14 feet wide, and you got two 8-foot pieces, so you're going to have to find a seam in there somewhere. And he put that shelf together for me, because we had a bunch of seed bins. We needed a place to have mountain seed house. But once he got that done, he's like, all right, what's next? I says, well, we got 4 roll-around walls in the seed house or seed room now. I want to replicate them going flat a long way down this wall right here where there's no windows or anything. He says, all right, I'll work on that. So he got that all put up for me. And mind you, while he's doing all that, I'm planning. I'm planning hard. I've already got it wired to electricity to the house, 100 amp breaker service, all that stuff. And when he got that done, he's like, all right, boss, what's next? And I told him, I says, well, I want to build a 3-foot wide, 6-foot long cabinet that's the same height as my kitchen countertop on my island, because my island's a little taller than normal. So he went in, he measured it, comes back out, says, all right, what are you using for wood? And I showed him. He says, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. All right, cool. We got that done. I went in and put a nice coat of varnish on it and just left it overnight to defumigate the building. Windows open, air conditioner off, whole 9 yards. And I put a couple cans of coffee grounds out there on the floor, because coffee grounds got a sweet smell and they'll absorb really obnoxious odors. We used to use them in tractor trailers all the time to get rid of odors. And so once all that was done, all the leftover pieces of wood and stuff, we built a shipping station with an L-shaped desk that she could stand up to. And one side of the desk was just for putting boxes of orders up there. I built a 24 unit mount on the wall for 24 orders. That way they're right there over top of the scale and right beside the computer, so you haven't got to walk to find them or get them or whatever. And after all that was set up, brought all the computers out, got them set up, now it was time to say, okay, all hands on deck tomorrow. And they're like, okay, no problem. The next day, we moved everything that was in my seed room out to that new seed house. And we busted our butt getting everything out there, because it wasn't just take it out. We actually had to take it all out and organize it, figure out how it was going to work. You know, I got 4 separate pegboard walls that are all side by side going down the length of a wall. And the first board was for flowers. And then the rest of them were all in alphabetical order, but based on how they were set up in the other rooms. And I told him, I said, I'll be right back. He's like, what? I said, I can't tell the difference where one board ends and the next board starts with all these packages on there. I'm going to figure out a way to be able to highlight where the end of these boards are all the way down the line. Because they'd be alphabet going all the way down the first board, and then they jump back up top second board and go down, and then jump up third, and so on. And that was a real pain in my butt. So I went out and I bought some orange painter's masking tape. Yeah, that stuff was bright. Still is. And we put stripes of that down on each seam of where those boards met, so you could tell distinctively which one was which. In the seed room, I had it on roll-around walls that I built, and I had an index card clipped to the top of each one of those that tells you what's in it. Is it veggies, A through F or whatever? You know, that was this side of the wall. You want more, you got to turn the wall around. You want more, you got to go over and turn the other wall around, because there's 3 walls of veggies and 1 wall of flowers. Well, since then, I don't even know what the number is of how many varieties we carry, but I'm guessing it's about 342. But I don't know for sure. I don't spend a lot of time out there. That's Leah's party now. I try to stay out of it. And we got 5 employees, not counting Leah and I. And hi, Pearly May. So our sales as of the end closing of last year was $346,000. This year, not so much. This year, inflation's killing everybody, but I'm patient with it. I did end up raising my prices by 20%, just because the cost of everything went up. The cost of seeds, the cost of the shipping and handling to get the packaging supply, and all that, everything went up. And so, and payroll went up. You know, I mean, we went whole hog get over the payroll. Pearly May, I am doing good. How are you doing? So, all right. So once we got that working, going, running, the whole 9 yards, and I told Leah once we got moved out there, I says, this is your baby. You run this crew. You run everything. You are now the seed house manager. I want no parts of this. I've been in this building for too long already. I don't want to be in it anymore. I'll find something else to do. And I did. I started my print shop. I decided I wanted to get in doing something different. I started with screen printing because that was cheap to get into. And to be honest with you, I don't like screen printing. To give you an idea, let's see if I can do this. This shirt right here is all screen printed. I don't know if you can hear that. All that ink lays on top of the material. And eventually it'll crack and start peeling off. It's a typical way of screen printing works, you know. Using the inks that they use for commercials. When I got into it, I was using water-based ink. It was a lot softer feel. It took a lot more to get it to set, but it didn't have to worry so much about cracking and peeling as much. And then I found out about sublimation printing, and I got to the sublimation printing part, and I'm like, okay, I can do sublimation printing. That is easy peasy. All I need is a heat press and a different printer. Use the Epson E-Coat tank printers, which I now have 2 exact sisters sitting side by side because one of them took a crap on me when I was doing Junk to Gems t-shirts. So I had to drive to Ithaca, which is about a 40-minute drive from here. go to their Staples, pick up the sister of that printer, bring it back home, get it set up for doing sublimation printing to find out that that printer really wasn't working good. So I had to clean it. And I finally got it working. Well, I had things printing off on that printer. I was over on the other one. Take it apart, clean it. Wait, run some tests on it. Everything's working? Yeah, okay, good. Fine, go. So that got me into where I was, okay, now I'm really pushing this thing. I ordered coffee mugs. I ordered polyester shirts up the butt. And mind you, with the screen printing business, I already have, I think, 20 cases of t-shirts brand new folded up sitting in my music room. But I just can't sell them. So I no longer screen print. Got a lot of money invested in it with all the fancy stuff, but I no longer screen print. Everything went sublimation only. And I like it better because it never cracks, never peels, doesn't wear off on the shirt. I actually have one shirt that I did a long time ago, one of the first ones I did, and it looks as good today as it did the day I printed it. So that says a lot, because that was, 2021 or 2024 right now. I've got shirts that I've gotten from people like Ridge Life. Ridge Life shirt's cracked all the way around the circle. It's cracked all the way through the letters already, and I've only had that since last year. So now, because I missed doing my woodworking, one of my employees, the one that did the flooring for me, was a professional woodworker. I let him do all the woodworking. You know where the shop is, go do this, go do that, We were building cutting boards. We were doing charcuterie boards. We were doing custom cabinets. We were doing all kinds of stuff. And he left my shop a mess. Real straight. He left my shop a mess. The layout of the shop is totally wrong for what I want to use it for anyway, but he didn't help matters any by messing it all up. And now I can't find nothing. It's my garage. I should be able to walk in and grab anything I need without having to spend an hour or two out there freezing. But I can't. So I'm pretty much getting ready to fix some of my property. If you go in front of my existing garage towards our backyard, there's a telephone pole, and then there's the garage, and the electric going to the garage is over. Yeah, Lynn, I think they're awesome too. Coffee mugs are awesome. I like both of them. I actually do full-size, full-color tumblers too. That's one thing sublimation can do that you can't do it with screen printing, is have all of the colors available on the rainbow. Sure, you can custom mix inks and stuff to get the color you want, but how many screens it takes to just lay out. Like if I wanted to do a 3-color shirt on, like, say, a black background or a dark gray background, I'd have to go in and do a layer of white where the print's actually going to set. And then that has to go and be flashed so it dries the ink a little bit so the next color doesn't stick down as much. Sometimes you got to do it twice with the whites. And the whites, they got to put quite the order to them. But then, like, say it's a 3-color print or 4-color print, you got 4 screens. That's the maximum I can put on mine. So that means I can only make a shirt that has 4 colors on it. And every screen will be made to be put into the printing press in the order that they show up on the shirt from back to front. So it's a lot of work. I watch my buddy Jay, or not Jay, he goes by the name of Rogue Labs anyway. And he's got an auto press, and he gets in some pretty interesting shirt designs and stuff. But I've never tried his, for the quality and all that stuff. I'm sure it's probably about the same as anybody else's. I don't know that for sure, but I do know that he's a lot more particular about making sure everything's where it's got to be on that shirt, color matching the whole 9 yards. And so I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I got all the ink, I got all the squeegees, I got a single plate press, I've got a 4-plate press, I've got the the big vacuum light box for being able to expose the screens and whatnot. And I just don't have the interest in doing it anymore. And I have 2 flash drives. So someday down the road here shortly, I'm going to just put all that stuff up on Facebook Marketplace, including all these boxes of shirts I got, and just put it out there for one low price and say, hey, if you want to get into screen printing, now's your chance. This is what I want for all of this stuff, you know. But I don't know. I bought into the single press one because my buddy was doing the Rogue Labs boxes and screen printing the ink on the boxes, and I was like, yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to be able to put my stuff on my boxes, and I did. I did a lot of boxes, but I don't anymore. I don't anymore. I even have one screen that was custom made for me so I could do boxes, and I don't even use that one anymore. I order, if I want something on my boxes, I either order printed packaging tape to put on the boxes, which is our normal standard anyway, or I print a different sticker. Like if I want to put something on the inside the box, when they open it up and they look inside the box, they get a little thank you letter in there or whatever on a sticker. Always with the box. Then I decided I wanted to get into embroidering, so I fell down the rabbit hole and ended up bringing home a $16,000 Ricoma 15 color single head embroidery machine. And if you know anything about embroidery machines, you need a lot of different colors to keep people happy. So I went out and I bought into this Burl thread thing where I probably got 100 colors of thread. The ones most demand, you know, gold, silver, stuff like that, I've got on a really big spool. I haven't touched that thing now since my graduation party. Well, sorry, my graduation reunion, which was back in 22. So that's idle pretty much. But then I got into playing with another idea for a product that I wanted to add to our store, and it had to be in a tin with a screw down lid and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, I can do the screw down lid. That's all fine. But my lasers that I had bought, the lower end diode lasers, would not do any markings on the tin. And I got a hold of another friend of mine named Mike Naparino down in Allen, Texas. I said, hey, I'm going to send you a box. Hey, Judy Jules, the big Italian, there you are. So I sent him a box of these tins that I wanted to put the product in. And he charged me $75 to do 24 tins. I'm not saying I complain. I'm not saying that at all. He had the laser, he knew how to set it up, and he did it. So, and then he mailed it back to me. It's part of the same price. So I was like, all right, whatever. Well, I got picking his brain. And I said, Mike, aren't you affiliate with that company you bought the laser from? And he's like, yeah, I am actually. I said, well, send me the link. I want to buy the same one you got. Now that I know the settings for it and everything else, I can set it up and I want the same one you got. So $4,000 later, I walked into my door with an Ohmtech 60-watt 4-model CO2 laser with a commercial chiller that sits beside it and a laptop to run it on. Thank God we just finished rebuilding my whole back porch area. It was an open deck and we closed it in because this is all taking place after I injured my foot. So that was 2022. Right? No, it was July 22nd, 2021. Sorry, 2021. And after we finished doing that whole room and everything, that's when the laser got delivered. And it was much bigger than I anticipated. I was hobbling around on crutches. And the guy that brought it for delivery was instructed to do what they call a curbside drop-off. I was like, no, don't leave it on the curb because I can't move it. There ain't no way I'm pushing this thing around. And so I backed my truck up, and he lowered his gate down even with my tailgate. And the big boy he was, he shoved it off the truck and onto my truck. And it sat on the back of my truck for 2 days, waiting for my other employee, Jimmy, to come back. he came back and he looked at that box, the crate sitting on my front porch, and he's going, "What's that?" And I says, "Your project for today." He had to go out. Excuse me. He had to go out. He had to empty the crate, take the base off of the laser so it would fit through my door coming into my house. Brought over a special dolly to put it on so he could roll it through the house, out onto that new back porch we just did, and then put the legs back on it and stand it back up. And it took both of us to get that job done. Those things are heavy. Hey, Lauren and Joe, how are you guys doing? It's a monster laser, but I love it. Speaking of it, I was going to show you guys something I did here. You might like this one. These are slate coasters. And myself, I love them. I love them. I can put about anything onto a coaster. I'm going to be running a giveaway here pretty soon for some things, and those coasters right there, it's a set of 4, will be included if anybody wants them. They all look exactly the same. I've also got all of the stuff to be able to take these slate coasters, put a reef around the outside of it, your monogram in the middle of it with your whole last name on the inside of the monogram, and those I'm going to be making available soon. They're like special order, whatever your last name is, or the people you're buying it for, wedding gifts or whatever, housewarming gift. They're great for things like that. And so I will be giving these coasters away today. We're 37 minutes into this one now. So let's say we give away some garden seeds. This one will be for our herb garden seed kit. The herb garden seed kit has, I believe, 10 different kinds of herb seeds on it, and I'm doing my best to get this set up on here. I can't guarantee how it's going to look, but I will do my best to try it. And we're going to do it based on a hashtag, because that's the easiest way to do it. They say, "Oh, you can do it this way, you can do it that way." No, I'm doing it on a hashtag. Come up here. Okay, that's good. Okay, I just told the tool to start collecting. I don't know how to do that part. I just told the tool to start collecting hashtag herbs, HERBS. So if anybody wants to get a herb garden going this year, that's the one you're going to want to shoot for. Just so everybody knows, this banner running across the bottom of the screen right here, that is my email address where you will need to contact me so that I can get your address and get them shipped out to you. I'll be right back. Didn't need to go as far as I thought I did. I need to be able to write down the winner's name, that way I know who got what. So this would be for the herb kit. Off the top of my head, I knew how many seeds were in there, you'd be amazed. That I can guarantee. A lot of herbs, real small seeds. Real small seeds. All right. See how many people we got invested in this one now. We're up to 8. Let's wait and see if we get it to 10. Hi Ace, how you doing? Let me go back over to the StreamYard here. Yeah, we're still sitting at 8. Well, 8 out of 14 isn't bad. We'll go ahead and draw this one. And the winner is Ace. I don't know how to add that to the screen like everybody else does to show you. But the winner of that one is Ace. Is it? Did you see the screen scrolling across the bottom there? CrownPC@yahoo.com is actually, yeah. I was gonna say I'm not too sure if stolen accounts, but yeah, it does. Ace, use that email address that's running across the bottom, and send me your name, email address, and your mailing address, and I'll get these in the mail to you. I don't know how Dale does it from 9 Acre Family Farms to be able to bring that screen down into this one, because I tried and I couldn't do it. They said just drag your tab down, and I tried dragging my tab down, but for some reason it wasn't dragging. All right, Ace is the winner. Take that back. Oh, same one. Okay, sorry to keep you guys waiting like that. All right, so next up. Okay, we're going to give that to Lauren and Joel. Making it home. Ace, that's mighty nice of you, by the way. So I'm going to change that to making it home for that winner. All right. Let's see. That's now my plan is, I was saying between telephone pole and the garage out here, there's room to put a dump truck right down the end of my driveway and go across the yard, and then it's all a drop off for it was an old barn foundation. This used to be a farmhouse. So that's my goal now, is to get some crusher run brought in and put that down to extend the driveway all the way over to where the land rolls off the curb and heads for the barn. And once the driveway's in, then I'm going to start bringing in big dump trucks and just having them come in and dump fill over the bank and start bringing it up to level. It's got a lot of space back. I think it's another 80 feet or better going out the back before you get to the farmer's field behind me. Yes, I've seen that, Judy Jules. Thank you. And so once that's all built up and leveled and tamped down or whatever, I'm going to have the new garage built back there. I think I showed a picture of the new garage before on here. I'm not positive. But then I can take all the wood shop tools out of the garage that I have now and put them all out into the new garage when it gets built. I want to get it filled up. I want to have a pad put down before they even come to put the building together. Hey, Juan Perez, how you doing? So that's another goal of mine, hopefully coming up soon. And then, of course, that's going to get its own electric box and all that stuff too, because I have welders I want to be able to run. That garage is going to be big enough to pull any of my vehicles in if I need to do work on them or whatever. I got plasma cutter, I got welder, I got all kinds of stuff. Way too much stuff, to be honest with you. Probably the reason why I haven't made a bigger move heading for Arkansas yet is because I've got way too much stuff to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I'm not getting rid of everything yet. That's a given. That big laser and I are going to stay together through thick and thin, because that was a very expensive outlay. All to be able to do a little tin can printed in silver. I don't care. When I got hurt, I took it really hard. I took it really hard. Seed business was doing great. I couldn't help them if I wanted to. Printing business was there, but it really wasn't. I wasn't trying to force it out and do things like that because I had trouble walking. And thank God I have the seed business and the print shop, because after being off my job for 2 years, my job was replaced by somebody else. And like Tim, I could have gone back under a different title and done different things and stuff. But if I'm going to sit 8 hours at a desk, I'm going to sit 8 hours at this desk. I'm not going to spend 8 hours a day sitting at somebody else's desk so I can come home and sit behind mine longer. A lot of paperwork and stuff involved in this stuff. But so that really is doing me. Yeah, speaking of prayers for people feeling better, I'd like to give a special shout out, prayer call for Josh Sherman. He had pulmonary embolism, and he has blood clots in his lungs now. He's on blood thinners. He has no energy. He can barely talk. He's winded really bad all the time. Can't do much. And the doctor told him he'll probably never go back to work again. Well, that's a tough pill to swallow when you're a young guy like that. A very, very, very tough pill to swallow. And he's a good guy. His family is nice people. I met all of them at the Oklahoma meetup back in 23. And I actually sponsored his channel back then. And I feel bad for the guy. I really do. I fortunately had something to fall back onto that I'm not even required to do much on. But he doesn't have that. And he's got a whole family to take care of. So I bless Josh. And I'm glad I remembered to put that in there before the end of this one. All right, we're down to the last minute, but where do we go? Oh, no. We're getting close to the end anyway. We got a ways to go. But while we're getting down this close, I want to do another drawing. Again, this will be for garden seeds. We have what is called the Complete Garden Kit. And that one has a whole lot of varieties in it. I'm not even sure what all they are. I'd have to have one of the bigger packages with all the little packages in it that has all of them what's in there on it. But I do know there's arugula. I do know there's zucchini. I do know there's some beans. I believe there's some tomatoes and cucumbers, so you can make up pretty much the whole garden, And for that one, we are going to use the hashtag garden. I've already got it running in the background, and I really wish I could figure out how to bring it into the screen. Let me give it one more try and see if I can. No, I didn't do it. Let me try this news layout and see if that's the one I'm looking for. I don't think it is. Nope. That is not it either. I'm going to try to get these numbers up to about 10, give or take. I don't want to make everybody wait all night on it, but we are getting close to the end, and I did say I wanted to get that one out as well. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you use capital letters, all capital letters, small letters, or whatever. As long as you spell the word proper after the hashtag sign. The program I'm using is called StreamYard Giveaway. It automatically cultivates all of those, goes through on the list, and it says, okay, well, what else? You just put in the hashtag and it runs with it. All right, we're up to 8 now. And yes, I will be giving this set of coasters away to some lucky person. Give them to your old man in the man cave or whatever. It is kind of a gruesome picture, but I needed something to put on coasters to show you guys, and I just happened to be working on the laser quite a bit yesterday, so I printed those out. All right, well, it looks like we're probably going to only have the ones we've got right now. I'm not seeing any new ones jumping on. We're going to go ahead and draw this one. Guess who won that one, guys? Making it home. The ones that Ace just gifted the other seeds to. So, Lauren, Joel, you know how to get a hold of me. Yeah, actually, Ace, I have heard from Randall. He's on Facebook as well. So if you can't catch him on YouTube, you can catch him on Facebook. Puppy's getting big. I forget where he said he was at right now, but he is planning on coming back towards Arkansas way at some point in the near future. He didn't give any exact dates. Of course, he's out, I think, Mesa, Arizona or something like that right now. So he's trying to keep warm. You know, stay any far away from anything that could be considered snow, and just keep warm. He deserves it. But yeah, he is on Facebook. I've talked to him on Facebook a couple times, and you can just go under Gypsy Trails as a search for finding him on Facebook. I also seen a video with him not too long ago too, where he was at some campground. Yeah, I post a lot to Facebook. Every once in a while, I'll check out my news feed to see if there's anything interesting, but I don't dwell on it. I don't spend much time on it. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to be watching YouTube videos so I can remember what it is I am supposed to be doing with some of the equipment I've got in mind. Oh, okay. Lauren and Joel would like to gift the garden seeds to Greg and Gina. And Greg and Gina, if you're still on here, if you don't want to wait for postage, you can just drive up. I'm about 40 minutes from you. But yeah, contact me via my email. And again, I need your name, address, and email. So I'll get your email off your email, so that's not a problem. But yeah, I need your name and address to be able to mail them to you. Okay. Now we got one more we're going to do. Let me get this one set up real quick. Okay, for this one, it's going to be for these funky coasters. Well, that's cool, Deb. Let's get together sometime, hang out, go have lunch or something. This time we're doing hashtag coasters. If you want them and you don't like them, they'll be in a pretty box. You can just wrap some wrapping paper around it and leave it on your counter. And when somebody comes in and says, "Whose gift is that?" "Oh, I bought it for you." I was wondering why you hadn't showed up lately. Just added to them. Yeah, McGraw is right down the road. I can get to McGraw from my house in 10 minutes. Right down the road. Juan Perez, you're going to need to pluralize the coaster. Got to have that one missing. Lindy Oki too. It's got to be coasters. S on the end. Greg and Gina, same thing. Coasters. S on the end. They're plural because there's 4 of them. There we go. Dub's got it. Ace has got it. I don't know. Everybody's like, well, why do you keep giving things away? Why do you keep giving things away? Well, show my appreciation for one. If you like, subscribe and leave a comment on my channel, it helps the algorithm. And hey, for two, some people that are in here I've never met before, and I'd love to have the opportunity. So, I mean, what better way to interact, get to know each other better, and all that stuff? And hey, there's something from me to you. It's not costing me a fortune to put it out. Like these coasters, I've got 2 cases of these rum coasters kind of kicking around in my print shop right now. The garden seeds, they'll get packaged first thing tomorrow morning, and Monday morning we'll have them ready to ship out. And once we get your email with all your stuff in it, we will get them sent out to you. Juan, you're fine, buddy. You're fine. Hashtag James. Yeah, let's see where we're at here. We've got the same 8 entries we've been getting, so I'm going to go ahead and draw this one now. Juan Pires, you are the winner of that one. Congratulations, Juan. Oh, that's cool, Deb. Thank you. Appreciate it. We actually put a sticker on the back of all of them that we shipped to before. It just says, thank you for being a repeat customer. So if we're typing their address into the database, if it's already there and their name pops up with the right address and stuff, we put one of them stickers on the back so we can show our appreciation for them ordering from us before. And I just printed up 540 more of those labels yesterday, because the first 300 I sent out to Leah at the end of last weekend were all used up. So we get a lot of repeat customers, which is awesome. And a lot of our advertisement comes from word of mouth. A lot of people like us. There is another channel that's being started right now. It's not up yet, and I do not remember or recall the name of the channel right now, but I think it's Southern Preppers, but I'm not positive on that. Once I know for sure, I will share it out to the group. I don't classify all of us preppers, but I don't know about you, but I do a lot of canning. I do a whole lot of canning, and I make sure my bullets are dry. So I guess you could say I'm a prepper. I don't have a bug out bag hidden behind something that I can just grab and run out the door with, but I don't see that happening in my neck of woods anyway. I could go hide out in the old barn foundation. They wouldn't even know anybody was here on the property. Okay, Greg and Gina, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm one of these guys. We have this robust wild strawberry patch and wild blackberry patches. There's a lot of them. One red raspberry bush. And so I go up, when I'm picking off of one variety, I'll pick off another at the same time, throw them all into a Ziploc bag. When the bag gets full, zip it up, throw it in the freezer. One of these days I'm going to make a fruit jam. Can't speak, these darn lips are confusing. I'm gonna make like a fruit jam out of it, because I think blueberries, strawberries, and red raspberries would be an awesome blend. Awesome blend. Yeah, I'm not too sure about wanting to have a freeze dryer. I know they're good, but they're awful expensive. I don't know how I could ever justify. Here's a guy talking who's got a $4,000 laser on the downstairs and a $16,000 embroidery machine on the upstairs, but I just can't justify that. I mean, I own pretty much every top of the line kitchen garment or kitchen gadget that's out there. I just went out and bought a new one last week. My mom likes to have ice cubes in her drinks, and I have not been successful freezing ice cubes in my freezers. There's always too much food, and so I bought a little ice machine, like $100. I said, yep, that was kind of cool. Actually, my girlfriend doesn't know it yet, but her Christmas present hasn't been paid for yet or ready for delivery. But I bought her a brand new side-by-side refrigerator with a under drawer freezer compartment and a middle drawer can holder. Her sister's got one over in Illinois, and when we were there, she was just drooling over that thing. I'm like, all right, not a problem. Yeah, James, that's pretty much for the fight too. Actually, I've had dry mouth a lot lately. I don't know why. But all right, well, guys, our hour is up. Next up is Johnny and Christina, Gillum Family Farms, and I'm not sure I'll be here next week, but I'll try to be here next week. Yeah, I think it's an awesome gift too. I mean, even though I'm buying it and it's going to be for the house more than it is for her, she's got two jobs. She doesn't need to have me spending money on clothes and fancy stuff. She likes to go out to eat out once in a while, and I'm like, well, I can do that with everybody, you know. All right, well, everybody have a good night. Don't forget, go check out Gillum Family Farms. And I think it's Gillum. Nope, it's just Gillum Farms. I'm sorry, no family invested in that one. I was thinking a 9-acre family farm. Yeah, Gillum Farms. They're on now, so I'll catch you all. I'll try to be here next week. If I can't be, you'll get a notice when I will be again. I'll advertise it on somebody else's if I need to. All right, everybody. Have a good night.